What's good with the YouTube Compass Perspective? It's your boy Flaco coming through, sliding through with my co-host Senor Rojo with a little bit of energy, man. How you guys doing out there today? So we got an interesting topic, an interesting article. We're going to talk about the cause and effects of this lifestyle, the consequences that could happen for your actions, the consequences that could happen for someone else's actions. And this is going to be like kind of like a live debate between me and Rojo discussing this topic, man. Rose gave me a little bit of information about it. It's about a self-defense claim where the individual still got a life sentence regarding a juvenile with some older individuals. And I want to ask the viewers, after reading this article, give your honest opinion on this. What is your perspective and your view of this? If this was your kid out there that was young in the game, or if this was an older individual doing this to your child, you know, please open up. This is kind of an interesting topic, and this is for everyone out there to, we want your view, we want your comment, and this is why we're trying to break the cycle of violence in that gang lifestyle. Is examples just like this one that Ro's going to give you guys right now. This is why we do what we do.
All right, check it out, man. This is from the Napa Valley Register, man. That's out there in California. And it's the title is "A Teen to be Tried as an Adult for Killing Vallejo Gang Member. American Canyon 15-year-old faces murder charges." It says, although the defense argued 15-year-old Edgar Aguilar was acting in self-defense when he stabbed a known Vallejo gang member to death, the court disagreed and held the American Canyon teen to answer to murder. Napa Superior Court Judge Stephen Croyer ruled this morning that there was enough evidence presented during the preliminary hearing to hold Aguilar for the October 1st, 2007 murder of Manuel Macias, 24. Aguilar's attorney, Greg Gillespie, argued Aguilar was attacked by a Macias who is almost twice his size, and Aguilar was only defending himself when he stabbed Macias to death. Deputy District Attorney Fred Gutierrez painted a much different picture of Aguilar, calling him a known violent gang member who killed Macias in a street gang fight. Because of the seriousness of the crimes, the court ordered Aguilar to be tried in adult court. Due to his age, however, he is being held without bail in juvenile hall. During the hearing, witnesses testified Aguilar and Macias were both documented members of rival street gangs. The day Macias was fatally stabbed, Aguilar is a member of the SURENO street gang, and his 14-year-old friend were walking on Elliott Drive in American Canyon to the bus stop to go to Napa. A car containing Macias, a member of the rival Norteno street gang, along with Jesse Perez, the driver, and Jaime Sabater drove by. Macias yelled gang slurs at Aguilar and his friends. More gang slurs and signs were exchanged. The men in the car stopped and got out. Macias took on Aguilar, while Perez and Sabater fought with his younger friend. Macias received one fatal stab wound to his heart. Perez, Sabater, and Macias left in their car. Perez called 911 and drove to a nearby service station to wait for an ambulance. Macias was taken to Kaiser Hospital in Vallejo, where he was pronounced dead. During an interview with law enforcement the day of the stabbing, Sabater picked Aguilar out of a photo lineup as the person who was fighting with Macias when he was stabbed. Gary James, gang investigator with the Napa County District Attorney, testified Macias's death was the classic confrontation between SURENO and Norteno gang members. The name calling, the flashing of gang signs leads to violent activity, which in this case ended in a homicide, James said. Gillespie argued Aguilar was only defending himself. What was he supposed to do in this situation? The autopsy showed Manny Macias had cocaine and marijuana in his system. Was Edgar to allow a drugged-out ex-con to beat him up? Gillespie asked. This guy is on felony adult probation for domestic violence, so he obviously has a violent background. Gillespie described Macias as being 24 years old, 5'10" and weighing 215 pounds. Edgar is a 15-year-old kid, about 5'5" and weighs 120. The victim outweighed him by 80 to 90 pounds, Gillespie said. You have a super heavyweight beating up a featherweight. He had a right to defend himself. Gillespie said Aguilar never showed the knife until he had been punched at least 5 or 6 times in the face, neck, and shoulder by the victim. Edgar believed there was sufficient bodily injury to defend himself. He used any means to ward off the intentional and unprovoked attack. Gutierrez disagreed. If he's getting beat up, what about the lack of serious injuries? Mr. Aguilar had some scrapes and bruises. He is not some poor innocent guy. He is a known gang member. The fight started with the usual gang interchanges. He had his knife in his hand. He wanted to kill someone, Gutierrez said. In addition to the murder charge, Croyer also held Aguilar to answer to assault with a deadly weapon, street terrorism, and several special allegations, including gang enhancements, which can add many, many additional years to his prison sentences. Aguilar faces 25 years to life if found guilty. His arraignment is March 5th.
Oh man, did you get the backstory of this? Was he found guilty or no?
This is currently ongoing. This is a currently ongoing thing. I just wanted to bring it up because, in my personal opinion, now this is just me, when an adult assaults a 15, 16-year-old kid, punches him numerous times, outweighs him by almost 100 pounds, that you're automatically in the wrong. If I go beat up a kid right now and he doesn't stab me to death, I get child abuse, child endangerment, all this and this and this. If you look at aggressors, man, you could say anything you want. If they're saying gang stuff as the car is going by, it was their choice to stop. You know, in self-defense situations, bro, to my understanding, they should have kept pushing. When they got out and engaged in these dudes, they become the aggressor, because you can't aggress somebody so much with words unless it's a terrorist threat. I don't know. I think the youngster should have been able to defend himself. You know, I don't care nothing about the gang stuff. If they say he's in a gang, he's 15, 16 years old. I don't like it.
Okay, see, that's where I have a problem with this, because he's being categorized because he's a gang member. You know what I'm saying? He's not the one that instigated the attack. The other side was the aggressors. So you're saying because I'm a gang member, right, I have no right to defend myself against a bigger opponent, against individuals attacking me.
Yes, sir.
All have due process and equal rights the same across the board. You know what I'm saying? Now, we could debate whether he's a gang member or not. That's besides the point. You know what I mean? It's the same thing when you get into these other debates about Second Amendment rights and being able to protect your family. You know, you start to separate people and categorize people, therefore you take their rights from them. You know what I'm saying? Now, as a 15-year-old kid, I'm first and foremost, I've been a firm believer. If you're a juvenile and you don't have the same rights as an adult, you know what I'm saying, to buy cigarettes, to rent your own place, you have to still get permission just to get a work permit. How are you going to hold someone who doesn't have the same responsibilities and duties as an adult? I mean, I can look back at myself as a 15-year-old kid. I was a misfit. I didn't even have my head on straight. You know what I'm saying? I was nowhere close to being an adult, and I think most of the viewers out there will agree. So that's one issue. I don't think any juvenile should have to face any type of adult consequences. Doesn't mean that they don't have to have consequences for some severe actions. They should, especially for a murder case. You know, in this instance, you know, this could be considered voluntary because he was, or involuntary manslaughter. You know, I mean, at the very most, you know what I mean? But to get someone for murder, I get it, man. He's out there gangbanging, you know, but he's at a young age. You know what I'm saying? And how old was the aggressor in that article? How old were they?
24. They were all adults. The dude who was ended up being murdered was 24 years old.
So 24 and 15 are two different. That's a big separation, man. I could see if he was 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
When you're 24, you're starting to get your man strength. You got your grown man on. You're no longer a little kid. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know, you've done enough time, you know. So this is a classic case of someone who's on drugs, on alcohol, sees someone and wants to take advantage of a victim that's 100 pounds lighter because he's a rival. You know what I'm saying? So they go and arrest a kid. You know what I'm saying? Even in my heyday of gangbanging, I could see myself, when I was 18 years old, I could see myself rushing a 15-year-old because we're close to age. But when I got out and was involved in the mix at 24 years old,
exactly,
I would go to certain stores and I would see certain SURENOs. And this is when I was fully active. You know what I'm saying? And I would be with youngsters. I'd say, no, leave the kid alone. The dude's only like 13 years old. He doesn't know any better. Because I'd have young squads with me out there like 18, 19, 20 years old. And they would see these cats. You know what I mean? If they're your age, okay, that's a whole different ballgame. But, you know, the bottom line message is behind this, regardless if it's justified or not. This is where the gang lifestyle can lead you. 15 years old, you're looking at life now. 24 years old, you got your life took. You never know what the consequences are going to be when you get out that car, when you choose to engage, or when you decide to wear those colors out in the streets or have that look. Anything can happen at any time. People lose their lives. You know, in this situation, 2 people lost their lives. Well, I mean, he hasn't been sentenced yet, but, you know, it just goes to show, man, like, you know, police officers sometimes, man, they could use excessive force, you know what I mean, when it's justifiable. What about us citizens? You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whatever you're categorized as, whatever your title is, I don't care if you're, you know what I mean, you're part of a knitting club or you're a hardcore gang member. If you're with your family, if you get attacked, you have the right to defend yourself.
I agree. California's the worst too, bro. Like, check this out, man. I just watched a thing the other day. It was in like one of the rich areas in the Bay Area. It was like Lafayette or Danville or one of those places over by the bottom of Mount Diablo where all them houses cost $1 million fucking dollars. Well, this black dude was walking across an intersection, jaywalking. I don't know what led up to this. I just seen the shooting itself, but he walked into the middle of the intersection. The cops telling him, "Come here, come here, come here." He's like, "No, fuck you. Who are you?" And this and that. And I see him pull out a knife in his hand. It looked like almost like a butterfly knife, like he whipped it open. And then the cop, obviously, he draws down. You know what I mean? And all that dude did was take like maybe a step and a half in his direction. Didn't try to swing the knife at him. Didn't try to do nothing like that. Cop one shot at him right in the fucking face or the head. Now, why should that cop have any more of a right to defend himself than a 16-year-old kid? You know, that cop never got punched. He never even got swung at. Like me, if I was a cop, I'd have shot him too, because, bro, if you're dumb enough to pull a knife on a cop, you got to understand that there's going to be consequences that come with that action 9 times out of 10, you know, and you can claim mental health and all this and that. And that's great. He probably does have mental health issues, but his mental health problems don't outweigh my safety.
But security comes first and foremost, and it starts within yourself.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, exactly, bro.
I mean, like, it's like this, bro. I mean, I think you agree for the same thing. If I'm rushed by 4 or 5 dudes that are big like me, and there's something right there I can pick up to use, I'm using that thing.
You got to.
I'm going to defend myself at all costs.
Yeah.
Because you never know. I mean, something that's easily getting jumped by 2, 3 dudes that are just doing it with fists could turn into them stabbing you.
Yeah.
Them shooting you.
No doubt.
Especially with the mindset, and it's not for us to promote violence. We're not saying go out there and always this. We're just saying, we're just having this as a discussion, man. We're hoping that you don't put yourself in a situation by flaming your colors, by representing your flag, by being out there on Front Street. You know what I mean? But for any individual, I mean, we shouldn't have to worry about, because where I'm from, what I associated or used to associate with is going to determine how the courts look at me. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, also, Flacco, check this out. The coroner identified 1 stab wound. He didn't just sit there and just keep booking him all fucking day. You know what I mean? He got hit a few times. He's probably thinking in his head, you know, hey, man, I was just telling these dudes what's up. They stopped. And, you know, man, when I've done it as a youngster, bro, said some shit to some old men trying to look cool, and then they turn around on your motherfucking ass, and in your head, you're like, oh, maybe that wasn't the best idea. You know what I'm saying? So this kid's probably like, oh shit, I shouldn't have been running my mouth. His homeboy is getting beat the fuck down. He's taking some shots. Dude's twice his size. Dude's on cocaine. Cocaine, I don't care what anybody says, makes you a little more aggressive. If that dude wasn't on cocaine, he might have been like, oh man, those are some just little kids. I'm gonna keep pushing. Got cocaine in your system. Cocaine makes you angry, bro.
As a grown man, I think anybody out there will agree with this. Any grown man, especially in their 20, if you're 24, I can recognize the difference between a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old.
Yeah, I would have kept pushing. I'd have just laughed at him and kept pushing. Personally.
You can't tell me you thought that they were 18.
Yeah.
You were looking for a victim.
They got a picture of the kid, man. I can't put it on there because he's a juvenile. You know what I'm saying? But they showed a picture of him, bro. There's no way you could mistake him for an adult. He don't even look like a damn gang member. He looks like a little, I don't know what he is.
Yeah, interesting article, man. So I get it, man. Like, there's some situations where 187 charge is going to be valid regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got to. It's about not putting yourself in those situations, man. Like, I mean, and it doesn't have to be a gang related offense. You could be at a random party.
Anytime an adult is jumping a minor, the adult should be held accountable, especially if it's not even close, bro. Because the picture of the kid, I'll show you later. Like, we could share it later. And you guys could probably look it up about this killing, man. But I can't show you personally because he's a juvenile and it violates some laws and shit. But I'll show you later, bro. You tell me. There is no way that this dude could be confused as an adult. And like I said, bro, if I seen a kid like this or similar and they're talking all that shit like Su Trece or Puto Norte or Crip Cuz or whatever the hell they're yelling at me, bro, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna stop the car. I'm gonna point at them. I'm gonna laugh hella hard just to let them know they're insignificant. And I'm gonna keep pushing, bro. Man, you can't mess with them kids, bro.
I wouldn't even give them the second of my attention.
Well, I like to laugh at people.
Yeah, you never know. But hey, bro, nowadays, these 15-year-old kids, man, they're strapped up and will shoot back real quick, though. You got to remember that too, though, bro.
True. I mean, we're talking about American Canyon, Napa, though.
Yeah, man, this is a classic example of just someone just a little drunk, a little high, want to feel big and bad for the night, and you know what I mean. Look what happened.
He did.
I don't condone any of it. You know what I mean? Like,
what do you think, bro? Is it involuntary manslaughter because he didn't volunteer them dudes to come back? And because you can't respond to words, bro. It's against the law essentially in self-defense claim.
We don't know. I don't know the intricate details of everything that really happened, because the DA is never going to be honest. And the defense is never going to be honest, because the defense is on your side. They're going to twist it. Everybody's going to spin their own story to it. So we don't know what exactly happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. These youngsters instigated it. They may have threw a rock or something. There may have been more to it. You know what I mean? They may have jumped him in the past. There could be more to it than we know. You know
California is the worst place to be in a self-defense type situation, though, man. There's nothing worse than Cali. The rule in Cali is if somebody's you can meet force with force. So somebody has to be shooting you for you to have a gun. Someone has to be stabbing you for you to have a knife. If they're in your house and they don't have a weapon, you can't even smoke them.
Well, I'm going to throw this back at you. Since you asked that question, I'm going to answer with another question. I don't have the answer, but this is something for the viewers to think. Do you think voluntary manslaughter would be upheld because you're out there wearing your colors, therefore you're welcoming the attention of being attacked? I'm just saying. Not everybody's innocent in this whole story. If you're out there,
the only twist to this is the dude's a minor. That's what makes it the most difficult part. Because you got to protect a 15, 16-year-old kid, whether he's flying colors or not. He's not even done going through puberty yet. He doesn't know what direction his life's going, and he's going to make irrational choices. But a 24-year-old man, that's an accountable individual. Bro,
this ain't gonna be the last case that happens like this, though. No. I just sent you a case right yesterday. We're not gonna mention the dude's name, man, but he was an adult and killed a 15-year-old girl. You know what I'm saying?
And it's still fully embraced. By one of the big three.
And I'll get at you. I found out the details behind it, and you're gonna be shocked why that happened. It's, you know what I mean? But I don't want to put his name out there. Maybe it'll be a discussed topic in the future. But I got the full rundown on that one, though, bro.
Oh, cool. You
know what I mean? We'll get off right now.
Yeah, man. Hey, we did this one, man, more so to see what our subscribers think. Man, is this with the evidence that they've presented so far, taking into account that the dude 16, taking into account the car stopped full of adults and attacked them, taking into account both sides are known gang members. What do you think about self-defense in this case? What do you think about murder in this case? I'm just curious to see where your head's at, man. And unless there's a lot more to the story.
16, Rahul?
Let me take a double check, man. I think it said both during 15, bro. 15 years old.
15.
Yeah.
That's freshman year of high school, bro. Maybe sophomore.
And maybe sophomore at the most, depending on when their birthday falls. Yeah. That's young, bro.
They barely got peach fuzz down there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He handled his business, though. I mean, I don't blame him. You know what I mean? shit, you're getting attacked by some grown ass man.
But you know
You
what?
feel in danger. I think murder is a
do
bit excessive. Period, though.
They got to do away with sentencing juveniles as adults. If you're going to sentence juveniles as adults, give them the same rights as adults. They don't have the same rights.
Especially at 15. You know, I could see maybe 17 years, 10 months, and they did something heinous. You know what I mean? This isn't heinous. This is a typical, you know, a typical murder. I mean, murder's heinous.
It's part of their lifestyle.
I'm not trying to downplay any murder, but this isn't particularly heinous. You know what I mean? He didn't set him on fire. He didn't eat him. He didn't do all that weird shit. You know, this is a standard thing. You know what you know what I'm getting at, though. Yeah. It's not a weirdo thing. You know, so I just think in no way can this be a murder. It has to be a life. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think, YouTube, man? Let us know in the comments, man. We'll be waiting for you. It's your boy Rojo, Big Flacco, and holler at us, man. We're curious.
I know.